there is some slight change in attitude about the quality of public education. In years past, we've had a vast majority of respondents both rate the overall quality of education in Indiana as high, as excellent or good, and then especially the schools in their own community. This year we asked the question slightly different. We asked them, because the state is moving to a letter grade system for accountability, so every school in Indiana will be graded as an A through F school sometime later in 2011. So we thought we'd pose that question to respondents, Hoosiers, about what they or how they view the quality of public education. So when we asked the question in that manner, 38% rated the quality of public education in Indiana as an A or B, 37% said a C, but only 13% said a D or F. There was a good number, about 13%, who also said they didn't know or did not want to answer that question. But still more positive than negative, but there is that 37% there in the middle that say schools are about a C on average here in the state. Now when we ask the question about the schools in their own community, which is common and with past polls that we've conducted since 2003, the number of respondents jumps dramatically by 21 percentage points that say schools rate as either an A or B, so the number is 59%.
Okay, so what kind of observations?
A majority of respondents say schools really have stayed about the same. They're not witnessing or experiencing improvement in public education. They don't believe there has been improvement, nor has there been a decline. So a plurality of respondents answered in that fashion. However, for the first time since 2003, we had more respondents say that schools are getting worse than better. About 25% said that schools are getting worse. Only about 20% this year said that schools are getting better. So first time in 7 years of our public opinion poll. So that does say that people are buying into this notion that education matters, it's a priority, and we need to do better. So we said, if you had a child in a low-performing school for multiple years, what options would you prefer to bring about change and improvement? So the transformational model, which provides more training or retraining for teachers and principals, extended learning time for students, more planning time for teachers, by far, that was the first choice. 66% of the respondents chose that as the option that they would most prefer. Really only about 6% chose the tuition option for vouchers or scholarships to allow the child to go to a private school. So people do want to see those resources maintained in public education to improve the education system. And they're a little leery about private management companies coming in and taking over our public education. We asked the respondent, do they believe that the level of funding for public education is more than enough or not enough? And their response was about 2/3 to 1/3 that it's not enough presently, that we're underfunding public education. Again, that could be perception dealing with the economy, cuts in public education that have been implemented by the state, cuts in higher education, just cuts in state government in general. People are aware that the state is going through a tough time rebounding from the recession, and that significant cuts have been made in public services. So there is that perception. 2/3 said we're not funding education at an adequate level. There's not enough money pouring into the system. But then we did a follow-up question. We asked them, or shared with them, that in general we spend about $10,000 per pupil per year in public education in Indiana. And with that information, we asked them the same question: is that more than enough, or not enough? Still, the plurality said not enough, but that shifted from 2/3. That was still the plurality or the majority answer, but it was more 50-50 once we gave them that funding information.